Hi guys! Welcome back to our channel. So today is a Tuesday morning dito sa Canada. And yan, in a matter of 2 hours, I'll be having my midterm exam sa isa sa mga subjects ko dito, which is family law. Although yung exam ko na yon ay naka-assign for online. Online lang yung exam na yon. But after doing that exam, I need to rush to SAT na. So sa school ko, in order to have my in-person class sa criminal law naman. So lagari din tayo after doing that exam. That's why in a matter of few minutes rin, I'll have my early lunch or brunch dahil hindi ko na yan magagawa while traveling to SAT. So anyway, as I have promised in my past videos, yun, whatever updates affecting international students, I'll be sharing it with you guys because I am also an international student myself here in Canada, particularly here in Calgary. So, meron kasi tayong news na nabasa. Yan. Although this has not yet been confirmed and still ongoing discussion. So, ang tanong ko, ikakat na ba ang hours na allowed for international students in working? So, as of now kasi, international students are allowed to work 40 hours or more every week as long as you complied with the eligibility requirements. So as long as you have submitted your student visa application on or before December 7, 2023. So the question is, ibabalik na ba sa 20 hours a week ang allowed hours for work ng international students? So if you're interested in knowing about that topic, please keep on watching. So this is the basic question that we have at the moment. Is Canada going to limit the international student work hours to 20 hours again? So we have this word again because as a rule talaga, international students are only allowed to work 20 hours a week while class is in session, and we are talking about off-campus work. So kasi yung mga in-campus work, so there's no limit. It means you are going to work inside your school or inside the campus. But if we are going to talk about off-campus, we're going to work in McDonald's, in Tim Hortons, or any other company outside the school, there's a limit or cap of 20 hours a week as a rule. However, last November 15, 2022, ayan, naabutan pa natin to. That was my first SEM here in Canada. So I'm already studying that time, November 15, 2022. There was a temporary public policy announced by Immigration Minister back then, Sean Fraser. So he is lifting the limitation that eligible study permit holders can work without a work permit no more than 20 hours per week off campus during regular academic sessions. So it means that starting November 15, 2022, yan, we were allowed na to work more than 20 hours a week. So that's a deviation from the general rule. Ang tinatawag natin dyan ay temporary public policy lamang. So bakit natin ito tinawag na temporary public policy? So the very basic reason here is that yung lifting of work hours, so allowing now the international students to work more than 20 hours a week while class is in session and off campus is gonna last until December 31, 2023. However, hindi naman lahat ng international students, yung mga nag-apply, ay qualified for that temporary public policy. So they have to comply with the eligibility requirements during the time of the announcement. However, itong December 31, 2023, hindi yan nag-end because the Immigration Minister now, Mark Miller, extended this temporary public policy until April 30, 2024. So in-extend pa yan, allowing the international students to work more than 20 hours per week while class is in session. Because we have no problem naman kapag scheduled academic break na yan. If that is academic break or ang tinatawag natin sa Pinas na SEM break, we are not required to comply with a 20 hours per week limit. So if this is a scheduled academic break, we can work 40 hours or even unlimited hours. Maraming international students during the academic break are working double job, triple job, so whatever can fit in their schedule. So there's no problem with that. So we are focusing our discussion on the regular academic sessions. Although this is set to expire by April 30, 2024, there's already a news na nagsasabi na baka hindi na umabot ng April 30 and i-revoke na yan ni Immigration Minister Mark Miller by soonest possible time, or pwedeng hindi na siya i-extend further with that designated date. So maybe babalik na ulit sa 20 hours per week limit ang allowed work for international students. So there may be questions popping around na kapag nag-work ba yung mga international students under this temporary policy, will this affect their ability or eligibility to apply for work permit later on or PGWP? So Immigration Minister Mark Miller actually provided an assurance that as the hours worked in excess of 20 hours per week would be authorized, it would not negatively impact. Okay, there's a guarantee here that this would not impact the students' eligibility for subsequent study permits, work permits, and other immigration applications, provided, of course, they resume working no more than 20 hours per week off campus without a work permit during regular academic sessions after this public policy expires on April 30, 2024 or is revoked, whichever comes earlier. So guys, I highlighted the last clause here. So it mentions that we have to revert to working that 20 hours per week limit. So as soon as this public policy expires on April 30, so that's 2 months from now, April 30, 2024. However, there is also a chance that this will be revoked. So we don't know. This can be revoked by this February, this can be revoked by March, or earlier than April 30 because it says here, whichever comes earlier. That's why napapaisip tayo, is there really a chance that this is gonna be revoked soon? So I'm just gonna show with you the article I have read from True North, and also this is shown in Bloomberg News. So Immigration Minister Mark Miller is warning that Canada's economy has become too dependent on cheap labor from international students and temporary foreign workers. However, many businesses don't agree. So now this is like an ongoing news or discussion because Canadian business groups are lobbying against proposed rules on foreign labor. So they are thinking about the possibility of cutting this allowance for international students working for 40 hours a week or more. They can cut this into 30, or they can revert back to having the 20 hours per week limit. Let's talk about the plans to reduce the weekly work hours. So as I've mentioned earlier, so Immigration Minister Mark Miller just announced last month the 2-year cap on international students. So that will actually reduce the annual amount by 35% compared to 2023 approvals for international students. So there are also plans here to reduce the amount of weekly work hours students are permitted to have. So Miller said the federal government will continue to take the necessary measures to curtail Canada's dependence on temporary foreign labor. However, some businesses are pushing back on Miller's sentiments, saying that there aren't enough domestic workers to fulfill certain job gaps in the economy. So there's still an ongoing discussion, even if they know or they're getting the idea of Miller taking back that allowance or that temporary policy allowing the international students to work more than 20 hours a week. However, businesses are lobbying against this, saying that it actually helped them when the international students were allowed to work for more than 20 hours a week. So are we going to go back to 20 hours a week? So some companies that employ international students have already begun lobbying against the proposed reduction of the permissible work hours. So ibig sabihin ongoing na talaga yung discussion, and we don't know yet what will be the final decision of our immigration minister, whether he will reduce the work hours allowed for international students soon to 20 hours a week. Yan, we will see. So some of the big box stores, some of the businesses that have international students have pushed relatively hard to preserve the 40-hour work week. So they're not pushing about 30 hours, but they are pushing about the 40-hour work week. Yan. Some student groups call for it as well because a lot of employers want you to be able to commit to more than 20 hours. So I can attest to that, because there are a lot of employers who will not hire you if you are just available for 20 hours a week. So 20 hours a week kasi is just considered as part-time work. So there are businesses or companies that will consider you as already a full-time employee if you are going to commit with 30 hours a week or more. But here they are pushing really hard that international students be allowed to have the 40-hour work week, and these are the big box stores. Yan. So later on, I will show to you what are the big box stores that being referred to in this news. So how about the 30 hours a week? Is it being considered? Because if we can't balance or choose between 20 hours per week or 40 hours a week, how about in the middle, the 30 hours per week? So among those lobbying for international students to have a 30-hour week while class is in session is the Retail Council of Canada. So this is a very big group or association representing the retail companies here in Canada. So for international students, retail can provide a way to supplement their incomes, enhance language skills, and provide useful employment skills. So everything from frontline retail and customer service to logistics and supply chain. So this was written by spokeswoman Michelle in an email to BNN Bloomberg. So this is also the news coming from LinkedIn, stating that big box stores are pushing Canada's immigration minister to rethink the curbs on international students. So actually, as we've mentioned earlier, Mark Miller said that companies are lobbying against his plan or proposal to cut the number of hours international students are allowed to work to 20 hours. Retail Council of Canada represents 45,000 stores, including Walmart and Amazon Canada. So many of which employ international students. And then in an email to Toronto Star, the RCC said that the labor shortage is real and finding people has never been more difficult. So guys, ito na yung news na dapat nating abangan dahil sabi nga ni Miller, yan, further changes to restricting work hours are coming. Guys, paparating na. So brace yourselves because we will know later on if this is going to expire sooner than April 30, 2024, yung temporary public policy. Is it going to be limited na to 20 hours per week, or they will just approach the middle ground which is 30 hours per week? So we don't know yet, kaya dapat nakaabang tayo sa news kasi lalo na sa mga international students na naka full-time work ngayon, doing 40 hours a week or 60, even 60 hours a week, kasi pwede kayong maapektuhan with the upcoming changes to restricting work hours na ilalabas ni Immigration Minister Mark Miller soon. So I'm showing now another article coming from CBC News. Dahil nga matatanong natin si Immigration Minister Mark Miller, why extend the temporary public policy if you are just going to revoke it earlier? So if you have plans on revoking the same. So they said that in an interview with the Canadian press on Monday, Miller said that he extended the waiver because he didn't want to interfere with students' work arrangements in the middle of an academic year. So tama nga naman if you are going to stop working for full-time until December 31, 2023. So makakat kasi yung academic year. Usually kasi the academic year starts in September and ends in April. That's why in-extend niya yon until April 30, 2024. However, he further said that what I really didn't want to do do is impact students in a current year that have made their financial calculations about how they will sustain themselves and how they will be able to pay for the tuition and rent and food. Yan. So Miller also said that internal work by the department shows more than 80% of international students are currently working more than 20 hours a week. So waiving the number of hours international students could work was the right call given the labor shortages. So even Immigration Minister Mark Miller is recognizing that there is a labor shortage here in Canada. So however, the policy was never meant to be permanent. That's why we are talking about this as a temporary public policy. It's never gonna be permanent, okay? So it's dependent on the labor market. If there's ongoing labor shortages, they are going to extend that or revoke it soon. So job vacancies soared to more than 1 million in the second quarter of 2022, but have steadily decreased since then as the economy slows. So here, Miller said he's now considering making a permanent change. Okay, there's really a plan to do a permanent change to the cap that would set it somewhere between 20 and 40 hours a week. So what we are hearing or reading in the news is that maybe he will choose the middle ground on it, which is gonna be 30 hours a week. But that's not yet final, guys. We will see on the upcoming news that Miller will release regarding the change to the cap that international students are allowed to work per week while class is in session. So Miller said that it's really not credible that someone can work 40 hours a week and do a proper program. So as an international student myself who worked in Nordstrom before, so it's kinda challenging then na magkaroon ng 40 hours a week na work on top of you being a full-time student. He said the goal is to come up with a cap that gives students the ability to get good work experience and help them pay the bills, all while not undermining their studies. So what does a reasonable number of hours look like for someone here studying, knowing that they are paying 3 to 4 times, sometimes 5 times the price of a domestic student? So I think that's above 20 hours. So yun guys, ang ating update for today. So there is no definite cap yet on the number of hours allowed per week for international students, but Immigration Minister Mark Miller is inclined to putting the cap for more than 20 hours. So maybe 25 hours, 30 hours, we just don't know. But the 40 hours per week while class is in session, according to Mark Miller, is not gonna be sustainable, or it's gonna be unreasonable knowing that international students are taking full-time studies here in Canada. So I'll keep you posted if there are further announcements regarding this topic. So if you have any guess kung ilang hours per week ba ang isa-set later on ni Immigration Minister Mark Miller, so please feel free to comment your opinion down below. So support your answers kung ano nga ba ang reasonable na number of hours per week na pwedeng i-work ng international students while studying. So yan guys, I hope that you learned something from this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Subscribe na rin kayo guys if you have not yet subscribed, and don't forget to click the notification button in order for you to get notified of our future uploads. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace!